Hello, this is September 2015 Math 111 Review Exam Question 2. So, algebraically and graphically find the intersection of those 2 points. Those 2 lines, the line through -6,9 and -2,5. Let's start with that line graphically. So, an intersection problem involves just drawing the 2 lines and seeing where they hit each other. So let's find where these 2 lines hit each other. So let's start in blue with the blue point, -6,9. There it goes. And now, let's go. And then the next point is -2,5, right over here. Oops. I don't want it to happen. Lost it. Back to where I started. This is what I want to happen. Give me that point. Okay, -2,5, right there. And now, like before, I make to get the slope, I create a corner point, which I'll do in light blue, right over here. Good. Give me the light blue. That's not what I wanted there. And now so I know that we're going to go down here and over here. And the change in y here, delta y equals -4. I could draw a better -4. Okay, -4. And delta x is +4. So, the blue function is the slope will be delta y over delta x equals -4 over 4 equals -1. So that means that I'm going to be able to go, let's do that a little better, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, I hit the same point, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1. I don't know where the 2 guys are going to intersect, so I'm going to just keep putting points right across the thing. That should give me the line. Okay, remember this is an intersection problem. Give me a line. I'm going to keep going. I'm doing this with a stylus, so it's not particularly beautiful, but there's my line. It comes out pretty good. So that's my blue line. So, the next step, and so you're going to need, this is all work. You need to do all of the light blue stuff and the dark blue stuff and so on. You can't just draw the line. You got to show me how you got the line and how you got the slope, and there's the intercept. That will help check graphically. So we can look at this, we can eyeball this and say that this is a slope of, this is y right away. We can eyeball this and say this guy has to be y equals -x. I always have trouble with the equal sign, +3. But we'll have to rederive that algebraically, and we will in a minute. Now, the next step is doing the red line. So, let's drop down to 2 points, 1,8, right there, and 3,4. So that's right over here. And once again, I gotta make a corner point, which I'll put down here, right up here actually. There it is, at 3/8. And now, I'm not going to use. So we're going to go over here. That's 2 equals delta x, because x increased by 2. And this went -4 equals delta y, because y decreased by 4. So that tells me that delta y over delta x equals -4 over 2 equals -2. So I ran out of space there, but I think you get it. That's -2. So that's a slope of -2. That means that when I go over 1, I go down 2. Oops, over 1 down 2, over 1 down 2, over 1 down 2, over 1 down 2. I'm not bothering to put the points that don't head to the other line. Over 1 down 2. And we hit the line right there. And let's just drop a few more points to... And now I can draw this line. And I can see, I'll switch colors now to black, right over here is the intersection at, and it's very important to get the x and the y's for these intersection problems, 7, -4. That is not what I want. That is the answer. And by the way, the red function, just to take that account, you can see that it's a -2 slope, and you can see up here it hits at 10. So it's actually y equals -2x plus 10. So that's, we'll see if we get the same thing algebraically. If we don't, something is wrong. But we don't know which, algebraically or graphically. Maybe I made a mistake on the graph, maybe on the algebra. So now I want to get this thing to stop graphing. So how do I get it to stop the graph? Type. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write the answer down here. So we'll start in blue. So I'm going to use blue to start writing. Okay, and we're going to start over from scratch. So I'm going to ignore everything up on the graph, and I'm going to get the slope is y2, which is 5, minus y1, which is 9, divided by x2, which is -2, minus x1, which is -6. And that should give me -1 as the slope. Now, the next step is to get the intercept. So I'm going to pick the point -2, 5. I'm going to use that doesn't work. Let's try this way. They use -2, 5. Let me draw. Escape. Alright. going into this weird mode again. Go. So, I got back. Okay, so here it is. So I'm going to use -2, 5 as my algebraic thing. Okay, which means I'm going to take 5, which is the y, equals slope, -1, times -2, that's the x, plus intercept, which is equal to capital R. Well, so now I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, because I think you all know -1 times -2 is 2. So we subtract 2, and we get 3 is the intercept, and our blue formula becomes y equals -1 x plus 3, which matches, and you can see right on the screen, right over here, you can't see that, but you can see, is what's going y equals -1 x plus 3. Now, so then I'm going to do the red, same math to get the formula for the red function. So, and I'm going to do it, well first, get out of this, and I'm going to switch colors to red. So I'm going to do slope, and I'm now in highlighting mode. Start that off, no highlight, no color. Okay, but that was cute. I'll leave that up. Equals. Okay, y2, what's y2? Okay, 4 minus 8, y2 minus y1, divided by 3 minus 1. Everything's in the first quadrant, everything's positive. It's me a slope of -2, just like I had before. And now I'm going to use, once again, I will highlight the one I'm going to use. Let's try 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to use that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 4 equals, yes I know computer, -2 times 3 plus intercept. And so what I've got to do is add 6 now to cancel the -6 on the right side. And that's going to give me 10 equals the intercept. And so my formula becomes y equals -2x plus 10. Now, the last part is I take my two formulas and set them equal to each other. Okay, so the idea is, in the intersection, both y's are the same. So I got to find the x that makes both y's the same. So if I set these equal, that'll give me, these are only equal, these formulas are only equal when there's an x, the same x generates the same y for both formulas. And I'm going to say, since this is no longer red or blue, I'm going to switch this whole thing to black. So there. Alright. And I'm going to continue from here. So, the first step is to, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add x to both sides. And what's going to give me is 3 equals negative x plus 10. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is subtract 10 from both sides. And that's going to give me negative 7 equals, yes, negative x. And now, that's really negative 1x. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. So negative 1x divided by negative 1 is going to give me x. Negative 7 divided by negative 1 is 7, so that's 7 equals x. But that's not a point. That's just an x value. To get the y value, I've got to sub it back in. So we're going to get, okay, so we take our first formula. Negative 1 times 7 plus 3. If we've done that right, it gives me a negative 4. Now, the whole point is, both formulas, when we plug in the x, should give us the same right. So negative 2 times 7 plus 10. Negative 4. So that checks. Spell check correctly. Check. And our point, our answer, is 7 comma negative 4, which is exactly what we got graphically. So 7 comma negative 4, 7 comma negative 4, it all checks. Yay! By the way, do not forget your graph paper. When you come to the exam, you will need to bring your own graph paper and do it on that. Bye. That's the end of question 2.